Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking some truly fascinating spiritual cosmology and concepts of love found in our source text. We're going to explore profound ideas about the afterlife, the intricate structure of the soul, and ultimately, how to find a love that literally never depletes.
We're taking an objective, deep dive into Ryuho Okawa's The Laws of Eternity. And specifically, we'll be relying heavily on Chapter 4. This chapter outlines a very specific and honestly quite beautiful spiritual hierarchy.
So, to kick things off, let's start with a profound question that the text tries to answer. What exactly lies beyond our standard earthly understanding of love? I mean, we all know what it feels like to seek love from our family or our partners, right? But the source text challenges us to look much, much higher than our basic human instincts. To demystify this, we're going to climb a ladder of ascension. Our roadmap covers the seventh dimension, the dynamics of love, words of true life, antennas of divine love, and finally, the diamond of compassion. Let's get right into it.
Step 1. The seventh dimension. Right in Chapter 4 of the original text, we learn that the seventh dimension is basically known as the world of love. But, as you'll see, the source is super careful to distinguish what kind of love actually governs this advanced spiritual dimension. It's definitely not what you might initially think.
According to the text, this realm is also called the Bodhisattva realm. Here, love isn't just some fleeting emotion, it's actively underpinned by a deep knowledge of spiritual truth, which the text specifically defines as Buddhist truth. The argument here is that love backed by profound spiritual understanding is literally the only thing that can truly give life, nurture, and develop everything in the world.
You can really see this stark contrast here. Think about earthly love on the left, like parental or romantic love. While it's beautiful, it's often exclusive and, let's be honest, sometimes a little possessive. But on the right, seventh dimensional love is entirely focused on nurturing and giving life to all things, completely without expectation. Moving right along to step 2, the dynamics of love. So, how does this actually work? Well, the author explains that those basic human cravings we have for love aren't a bad thing at all. They actually serve as stepping stones, a catalyst for spiritual awakening. The text states that love follows a profound law of action and reaction. Basically, if you give love unconditionally to others, you inevitably invite this massive, overwhelming love from the Buddha right back into your life. Step 3. Words of true life. The text uses a really vivid and kind of heavy metaphor here. Imagine thirsty, exhausted travelers wandering through a scorching desert, desperately searching for an oasis. That is exactly how the book describes humanity's spiritual state on Earth. People are just spiritually fatigued and wandering. And this brings us to the core of true salvation. Inhabitants of the seventh dimension prioritize saving people by giving them the word of life, this Buddhist truth, to completely quench that existential thirst. The source argues that providing the truth acts like spiritual water. Once an awakened soul drinks it, they can step out of that desert of confusion and live their eternal life without any hesitation. Which brings us to step 4, antennas of divine love. Okay, I absolutely love this extended metaphor from the book. It says bodhisattvas act exactly like radio antennas. They don't just magically generate love out of thin air. Instead, they make the heart of the Buddha their own, and they are obligated to receive that boundless love and broadcast it endlessly outward, just like an antenna catches a signal and pushes it out to the world. This explains how historical figures totally transcended standard human relationships. The source specifically points to figures like Jesus and Shakyamuni, noting that they aimed to save all of humanity. They practiced a giving love that sought absolutely no return. To borrow another beautiful analogy from the text, they gave love much like the sun gives infinite energy to the earth, freely, simply, and without ever asking for a single cent back. And finally, step 5, the diamond of compassion. To reach this ultimate evolution, the source likens the human soul to a vast reservoir or a dam. Your soul is quite literally a vessel meant to receive the love of the Buddha. Now, if your vessel is small, it overflows way too quickly. But a massive vessel, it can hold on to and utilize an incredible amount of spiritual power and electricity. So how do you upgrade your vessel? By practicing the truth of Buddhism, you actively expand the walls of your soul's dam. You are literally expanding your capacity to accept that divine energy. By doing this, you generate ever greater amounts of love, just like that dam generating electricity, and you elevate your soul directly toward Buddhahood.
And this brilliantly illustrates the climax of the text, the ultimate sublimation into compassion. The text defines this not as a fleeting emotion, but as the love of existence itself. It is a state that just continues to give, unconditionally. Picture a flawless diamond. It simply shines by its very nature, not because it wants to receive light in return, right? A highly evolved seventh dimensional soul radiates love simply because it exists.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought directly from the text to reflect on in your own life. How will you expand the vessel of your soul today? Can you find a way to shift from a love that seeks to a love that simply shines? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this source material and keep seeking that knowledge.